Hey everyone, my name is Grant Cardone. I'm a self-made millionaire, a real estate investor, a best-selling author, and a man who was once dead broke, addicted, and completely lost. I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and nothing in my life came easy. You know, people always ask me, Grant, how did you make it? How did you go from being broke, drug-addicted, and lost, to building a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire and speaking on the biggest stages in the world? Let me tell you something. If you're struggling right now, if you feel stuck, if you feel like nothing's working, I was there too. I wasn't born into wealth. I didn't have connections. I didn't have some secret formula. What I had was pain. What I had was rejection. What I had was failure after failure after failure. But I used all that as fuel. I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Small town. Nothing fancy. My dad died when I was 10 years old. That moment shattered my world. It left a void. And instead of filling it with purpose, I filled it with pain. By the time I was 15, I was lost. By 16, I was using drugs. By 20, I was a complete mess. But I want you to hear me when I say this. Your past does not define your future. I don't care how many mistakes you've made. I don't care how deep the hole is. I don't care if everyone around you doubts you. You can get out. You can rise. You can win. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's possible. I hit rock bottom at 25. I was broke. I was alone. My mom had given up on me. My friends weren't real friends. They were just people I got high with. One day I looked in the mirror and I hated what I saw. I said, "This is it. I'm done." I quit drugs. I committed to becoming the best version of myself. I started reading books, hundreds of them. I studied sales, business, marketing. I learned how money works. I learned how wealthy people think. Let me tell you something about wealthy people. They don't wait for permission. They don't play victim. They take action. Relentless, massive, obsessed action. That's the difference. Poor people wait. Wealthy people create. So I got into sales. Not because I loved it, but because I needed to survive. I was terrible at it in the beginning. People laughed at me, rejected me, hung up on me. But I kept showing up. Every single day. I became obsessed with getting better. I recorded my calls. I analyzed my pitch. I practiced for hours every night while other people were out partying or sleeping. That's the thing most people don't get. They think success is some big breakthrough. It's not. It's a series of small, boring, painful sacrifices that nobody sees. It's waking up early. It's staying late. It's saying no to distractions. It's working when everyone else quits. It's doing the work that's not sexy. The invisible stuff. I saved every penny I made. I didn't buy stupid things. I didn't try to impress anyone. I lived below my means. And when I had enough saved up, I bought my first real estate property. It wasn't big, but it was mine. And then I got another, and another, and another. People told me I was crazy, but I saw what they didn't. I saw the power of passive income. I saw freedom. Let me ask you this. How long are you going to trade your time for money? How long are you going to be a slave to your job? Your boss? Your bills? That's not life. That's prison. And I decided I was going to break out. Not just for me, but for my family. For my kids. For every single person who ever doubted me. I was going to show them what was possible. You want to know what separates the winners from the quitters? It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's hunger. Hunger for more. Hunger to grow. Hunger to dominate. I was never the smartest in the room. I failed in school. I wasn't the most gifted. But I was hungry. I was obsessed. I was willing to do whatever it took. You see, most people want success, but they don't need it. They wish for it. They hope things will work out. That's not how champions think. That's not how winners operate. I didn't wish for success. I demanded it. I didn't want to just pay the bills. I didn't want to just get by. I wanted freedom. I wanted power. I wanted to own my life. Not rent it. Not borrow it. Own it. And let me tell you, when you commit to ownership, the universe will test you. Life will punch you in the face. You will lose friends. You will be laughed at. You'll be criticized. You will fail again and again. But if you keep showing up, keep pushing, keep grinding, something magical happens. You become unstoppable. I built Cardone Enterprises from scratch. No investors, no fancy backing, just relentless work. I built Cardone Capital. I built the 10X movement. And every step of the way, people told me I was crazy. Grant, that's too much. Grant, slow down. Grant, be realistic. Let me tell you something. Realistic people don't change the world. Realistic people stay broke. Realistic people give up too soon. I wasn't trying to be realistic. I was trying to be legendary. You don't build a billion-dollar portfolio by playing it safe. You don't inspire millions by being average. You don't create a legacy by following the crowd. You lead, you charge, you fight, and you do it not for the money, but for the mission. My mission was to prove that you don't need to be born rich. You don't need to have Ivy League degrees. You don't need to know the right people. All you need is massive action, insane discipline, and the refusal to quit. That's the formula. Massive action, obsession, discipline, no excuses. You do that for 10 years, straight, and you'll be shocked at who you become. Every day I wake up with one thought in my head. Who can I help today, and how can I grow? Because success isn't just about stacking money. It's about impact. It's about leaving a mark. Listen, I've made millions. I've flown private. I've lived in mansions. I've stood on the biggest stages in the world. But the real win for me? Hearing a 21-year-old kid tell me, "Grant, I watched your video, and it changed my life." That's legacy. Money? You'll spend it. Cars? They get old. Clothes? They go out of style. But impact? That lasts forever. You need to understand something. No one is coming to save you. Not your boss. Not your parents. Not your government. You're not a victim. You're not broken. You're not stuck. You're just waiting too long to decide. The moment I stopped waiting, everything changed. I stopped blaming. I stopped making excuses. I stopped hoping that someone would give me a shot. I took the shot. I created my shot. That's what winners do. You want to build a business? Start now. You want to become a millionaire? Commit now. You want to break your family's cycle of poverty? Take action now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Just start. Most people never succeed because they never start. Fear keeps them frozen. Doubt keeps them small. And the truth is, you can fail playing it safe. So if failure is possible either way, why not take the risk that leads to greatness? I've been broke. I've been bankrupt. I've been humiliated. But I've never been ashamed of my hustle. I've never been ashamed of my ambition. And I never let temporary losses define my permanent worth. Your identity is not your bank account. It's not your job title. It's not your past. Your identity is what you choose to become. You were born to dominate, born to lead, born to win. So stop acting like a pawn and start moving like a king. People often ask me, "Grant, were you always this confident? This certain? This driven?" And I always smile and say, absolutely not. There was a time when I was lost. I didn't believe in myself. I thought success was something only the rich kids had access to. I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Small town, small dreams, but a heart full of fire. I remember sitting in my room, 16 years old, frustrated and angry. My father had passed away when I was just 10, and my mother was doing her best to raise 5 children alone. But deep down, I knew no one was coming to save me. If I wanted something big, I'd have to go out there and take it. That's when the obsession began. I became obsessed with finding the truth about wealth, confidence, and power. I read every book I could find. I studied every successful person I could get my eyes on. And most importantly, I worked like hell. People think success is about luck or timing. They're wrong. Success is about ownership. You have to own your mornings, your mindset, your money, your results. You can't outsource your life and expect to be great. I was 25 when I hit rock bottom. Addicted, broke, alone. I had every reason to give up, but I didn't. You know why? Because I had already made the decision that average was a lie, and I swore to myself that day I would never live below my potential again. That was the moment things shifted. I got clean. I got focused. I took a job in sales, something I hated at first, but I mastered it. I didn't just show up, I dominated. I learned the science of persuasion, the art of attention, the power of follow-up. Within a year, I was the top performer. I wasn't trying to be better than others. I was trying to be better than the version of me from yesterday. Then I asked myself a dangerous question. What if I stopped playing small? That question changed everything. I started creating content before social media was even cool. I filmed videos with bad lighting, bad sound, but fire in my voice, and people felt it. Because the world doesn't respond to perfection. The world responds to conviction. Let me tell you something. If you're watching this right now, you're not here by accident. You feel like you were made for more, right? You feel that pull inside, that hunger, that heat. That's real. Don't let anyone convince you to tame that fire. I want you to do what I did. Turn your pain into purpose. Your mess into your mission. Your frustration into your fuel. You don't need permission to win. You don't need a diploma to start. You don't need a handout. You need a decision. I made mine years ago. That's how I went from a broke addict to running a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire. Flying private, speaking to millions, helping people 10x their income and confidence. But the money is not the win. The man I became, that's the real reward. And that same transformation is available to you. You just have to get clear, get obsessed, and never, ever back down. You know what separates the winners from the watchers? Obsession. People call it unhealthy. I call it necessary. There was a time when I had nothing but rejection, debt and doubt staring me in the face. People told me I was dreaming too big. They said, "Be realistic, Grant. Settle down. Life doesn't work that way." But let me ask you this. Who told them that? Who told them life is supposed to be average? I refused to believe that. I made a decision. I wasn't going to live a normal life. I was going to live a 10x life. Not 10 times harder, 10 times bigger, 10 times more action, 10 times more failure, and ultimately, 10 times more success. Success doesn't come from wishing, reading, or planning alone. Success comes from doing. Massive action. When others were sleeping, I was up cold calling. When they were partying, I was writing goals. While they were watching Netflix, I was building an empire. Because listen, your potential doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care where you came from. It only cares whether you show up or not. If you want to be successful in America or anywhere in the world, you must dominate, not compete. Dominate. Take market share. Make noise. Be seen. Be heard. Be remembered. And no, it won't be easy. It will be uncomfortable, brutal at times. You'll feel like quitting. You'll feel alone. But I promise you, every second of pain you feel in the pursuit of greatness is a seed. And one day, those seeds will become a harvest you never imagined possible. Let me tell you something most people don't realize. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to come from a rich background. You don't even need all the right connections. What you do need is obsession, not passion. Passion fades. Obsession doesn't. When I was broke, when I was lost, when I had nothing to show, I was obsessed. Obsessed with changing my life. Obsessed with becoming someone my future self would be proud of. People told me, "Grant, slow down. You're working too much. Take it easy." But they didn't understand. I wasn't working to impress anyone. I was working to build a life no one could take away from me. You see, when you're obsessed with success, failure isn't even an option. You'll sleep less. You'll sacrifice comfort. You'll outwork everybody in the room. That's what it takes. I didn't get rich by accident. I didn't wake up one day and find success waiting on my doorstep. I fought for every dollar. I chased every opportunity. And I took risks no one else had the courage to take. People fear risk. But let me tell you something. Not taking a risk is the biggest risk of all. You're risking your dreams. You're risking your time. You're risking your legacy. Look, if you're still waking up every day, dragging your feet to a job you hate, if you're still surrounding yourself with people who don't believe in your vision, if you're still doubting your own potential, then you're not obsessed enough. You want freedom? Earn it. You want respect? Prove you deserve it. You want wealth? Build something no one can ignore. You were not born to live average. You were not made to settle. You were made to dominate. And the moment you believe that, everything starts to change. You know what separates the winners from the losers? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even timing. It's execution. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody talks about what they're gonna do, but only a few actually get up and do it. You say you want success, but do you wake up earlier than everyone else? Do you outwork your competition? Do you do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it? That's the real test. Success doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to action. When I built my empire, I didn't wait for motivation. I didn't wait for permission. I moved. I executed. I failed. And I moved again. You can read every book, watch every video, listen to every podcast, but if you're not taking massive action, you're just entertaining yourself. And that's what most people do. They confuse learning with doing. Let me ask you something. How many opportunities have you already missed? How many times have you waited and watched someone else win what could have been yours? That ends now. You don't need more time. You need more discipline. You need more urgency. You need more execution. Stop telling yourself you're getting ready. Get in the game. Because every second you hesitate, someone else takes your spot. And I don't know about you, but I'm not here to give my spot away. I'm here to take territory. And you should be too. Let me ask you something. What if every excuse you've ever told yourself was a lie? What if I don't have time really meant I don't value my future? What if I don't have the money meant I'm not resourceful enough to find it? What if I'm too tired meant I'm too lazy to build the life I say I want? You see, the moment you start believing those lies, you kill your potential. Let me tell you something real. I was broke. I was in debt. I was alone. Nobody believed in me. They laughed at my goals. They told me I was dreaming too big. You know what I did? I got obsessed. I got disciplined. I burned every damn excuse. I didn't wait for support. I didn't beg for validation. I took control. And I made a decision, not just to survive, but to dominate. Because if you want to be a champion, you can't live like a civilian. You want the mansion, the jet, the freedom? Then you better start showing up like a killer, not a quitter. And here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You're not broke because of your circumstances. You're broke because you tolerate average habits. You're not stuck because the system is against you. You're stuck because you haven't gone all in. People say, Grant, it's hard. You know what's harder? Being broke. Living paycheck to paycheck. Waking up every day with regret. Hard is showing your kids that you never became who you were supposed to be. So don't tell me you're tired. Don't tell me it's too late. Don't tell me your past holds you back. Your past is fuel. Your pain is your power. And your excuses are your enemies. So burn them. Burn every excuse you've used to play small. And when the fire dies down, build the empire on the ashes. Because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody owes you anything, but you owe it to yourself. To become the person you were born to be. Now get up, get loud, get dangerous, and go take what's yours. I remember that evening clearly. I was sitting alone on the balcony of my one-bedroom apartment, staring at a city skyline I had once dreamed of conquering. And yet there I was, surrounded by walls I couldn't break and limits I didn't even know I had accepted. That night I made a decision. I will not live average. I will not settle. The next morning I woke up at 5 a.m., not because I had a job to go to, but because I had a war to win, the war within. I grabbed my notebook and wrote one sentence. You are the product of what you tolerate. I stopped tolerating excuses. I stopped tolerating procrastination. I stopped tolerating average results. That's when I became dangerous, not to others, but to the version of myself that kept me broke, lazy, and uninspired. People ask me today, Grant, what was the turning point? And I say, the turning point was the moment. I took full responsibility, without blame, without pity, and without permission. I didn't wait for motivation. I built discipline. I didn't wait for the right time. I created the time. I didn't wait for support. I became my own army. The moment I went all in, I sold everything that wasn't building me. Friends, habits, junk. I invested every dollar I had into self-education, mentors, coaching, business growth. I treated every penny as a soldier. I didn't waste soldiers. There were nights I couldn't sleep, not because of stress, but because I was so fired up with ideas. My hunger outgrew my fears. My vision outgrew my doubts. My purpose outgrew my pain. That's when I realized success doesn't come to those who want it. It comes to those who own it. I didn't want millions, I claimed them. I didn't want time freedom, I built it. I didn't want a legacy, I lived it. Discipline. Motivation. Everyone talks about motivation. They wait for it like rain. Not me. I became a man of rituals. I made cold calls when I didn't want to. I read when I was tired. I trained when I was sore. I showed up even when nobody clapped. Because guess what? Champions don't need applause. They need clarity. And clarity only comes when you stop lying to yourself. I asked myself the hard questions. Are you as committed as you claim? Are your actions louder than your goals? Do your habits reflect your future? If not, fix it. Don't justify it. The truth about success. Let me be honest, success isn't pretty. It's not aesthetic quotes or filters. It's not yachts and jets on day one. It's rejection. It's 500 calls that go unanswered. It's selling your own watch to pay rent so your business survives. It's saying no to 100 distractions a day. It's working like hell while being laughed at by everyone you grew up with. But guess what? All those people who once laughed, they now watch my videos, attend my events, and take notes from the same man they once doubted. Now I own my life. Today, I own businesses. I own real estate. I own my calendar. I own my health. I own my thoughts. And most importantly, I own myself. But it started with one thing. I stopped playing small. So if you're listening to this right now, and something in your gut is telling you, I was made for more, don't ignore that voice. That voice is the real you. The you that's buried under guilt, self-doubt, bad friends, and wasted time. Let that version rise. Final words. Here's my final message to you. Wake up early. Stay hungry. Kill your comfort zone. Stop asking for permission. Get around winners. Invest in yourself. Sell your excuses. Buy your freedom. Be obsessed or be average. This is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is a blueprint. I followed it. Now it's your turn. You see, it was never about talent. It was never about luck. It was about decision. One decision I made years ago. I'm not going to live average. And then I made another. I'm going all in. And then I made another. I will not quit until I die. You ask me how I made it big? It wasn't the books I read. It wasn't just the money I saved. It was the commitment I made to myself when nobody was clapping. I said to myself, Grant, nobody's coming to save you, so you better save yourself. I worked. I failed. I stood up. I got hit again. I fell, but I got up faster every single time. You're waiting for signs. I created mine. You're waiting for motivation. I hunted mine. You want success? You better be ready to bleed for it. I showed up to places where I didn't belong. I spoke like I was already rich when I had nothing. And I kept telling myself, fake confidence until it's no longer fake. Because the world doesn't care about your dreams. The world rewards execution. And that's why I became a machine. I got up earlier. I stayed later. I said no to excuses. I said no to distractions. I said yes to greatness. And let me tell you one more thing. I didn't do it alone. I surrounded myself with people better than me. People who challenged me. People who didn't clap for mediocrity. People who made me uncomfortable. Because growth only happens outside comfort. You want to be successful? Stop whining. Start executing. Make a list of your goals and tattoo them into your soul. Wake up and attack the day like it owes you everything. Because it does, if you're bold enough to take it. Here's the truth. Most people die with their dreams still inside them. Don't be most people. Become the exception. Be the one who breaks every rule. Be the one who proves them all wrong. Be the one who changes the story of your entire bloodline. Because success isn't a matter of luck. It's a matter of refusing to lose. I'm Grant Cardone. I was broke. I was lost. I was addicted. And now I'm a multimillionaire who helps others get there too. Because I believed in myself when nobody else did. And now, it's your turn. Don't just watch me. Join me.